Today's date is September 2nd, 2015. It's 2:10 in the afternoon, Wednesday. Been summoned to the Office of Diversity for whatever reason, some kind of investigation, I don't know. But that's where I'm going. I forget the lady's name, Miss Rodriguez. Someone. Anyway, my name's Gilbert Mullins. I'm here for a meeting at 2:30.
Okay. I should be right with you shortly.
Okay. Now, have a seat here.
No, we haven't done function 2. We've got function 1 now. Okay. And then so we are going to do that.
Yes. Okay, I couldn't remember your first name.
Oh, it's okay.
I don't have
Okay,
that paper.
Hi, nice to meet you. We're going to go in the function.
Okay.
Is it hot outside still?
It's actually getting better.
Okay, good, good. Now I'm done with the heat, I think. Okay, so, I don't know if you're aware what our office does, if you've ever heard of.
This used to be George Cotton's office. This used to be called the Affirmative Action Office.
Yes, yes.
I've been here once in my life,
Okay,
so I don't. Now, as far as the Office of Diversity, I've never been. They just probably gave it another fancy name,
probably that's what happened.
and I don't have a clue why I'm here.
Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So here, we are charged with investigating any claims of Title VII, related to Title VII, and that means that in the workplace, no one can discriminate based on race, gender, religion, disability, sexual orientation, national origin, color,
Right.
all of those. So if there are allegations, we are charged with looking into them.
Right.
The purpose of our office being separate from any other county entity is that so that we can render an unbiased investigation.
Mm-hmm.
We work for our own. We are under pretty much the umbrella of the county HR, but we don't work for any specific department or entity, including water rec.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some allegations of race-based misconduct against you.
Oh.
We're going to talk about them, and we'll discuss them fully. We have not rendered any kind of findings.
Right.
It's your opportunity to tell us,
Well, I'm still. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll go through
Okay.
them. So we record all our interviews. That's standard protocol.
Okay.
I'll repeat some of this when I do my little spiel.
All right.
You will be given an opportunity to ask questions and make any further comments you wish to make, but I like to wait till the end of my questions.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes I find that your questions will be answered as we go along with my questions. You'll start seeing what it is we're trying to get at.
All right.
Anything you and I talk about is confidential. The only people who have access to this is the people in this office. At the end of the investigation, all we do is tell the department head, in this case it'd be Tom and Regan, yes, we have enough information to support what was alleged, or no, we don't. We don't say who told us, who we talked to, how we found out. There are two exceptions to that. One is if this one day became a court case, and in litigation it was subpoenaed through the court, we'd have to hand it over.
Okay.
The second would be that if there is ever a union grievance, like a labor proceeding, if they request information, some of the information, not all of it, might have to be turned over, if that were the case.
All right.
The majority, I don't know the majority, but the percentage of cases that actually go that far is very small compared to all the cases we do. But we do have to make it known that there are exceptions to the rule. Other than that, please know that the only people who would know are my supervisor and the people in this office are the only ones who have access to this information and to any other information we have in the case.
Okay, so at this point, I don't even know my accuser.
Right.
Anybody could. Okay.
Okay,
Well, let's go ahead with the process.
Right, and I'll let you know how it came about.
Okay.
Okay. Today is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2015. It is approximately 2:20 p.m. My name is Rita Rodriguez. I'm a Senior Management Analyst with the Office of Diversity, and today I'm interviewing Gilbert Mullins for case number AA0723-15-49. The Office of Diversity provides a dual service for Clark County government to include Water Reclamation District. One responsibility our office has is to work with administrators and managers to ensure county compliance with fair employment laws. Our office is investigating an internal complaint of race discrimination. These allegations are against you. The complaint came through management. There is no one person, I can't say there's one employee in Water Reclamation that complained, but management over at Water Reclamation had some concerns, and because they were race-based, they asked us to look into it. So I can't.
I understand.
There is no one really. It's just
right.
management. We're going to ask you a few questions, and we anticipate you will provide complete and honest responses. Have you been made aware that the interview is being recorded?
Yeah.
Okay. Please be advised that if you're a member of the union or subject to disciplinary action as a result of the investigation, you have the right to union representation during these proceedings. Did they make you aware?
Yeah, that was in that letter.
Okay.
And so well, it's just the thing that I don't know what's going on,
okay.
and I feel that I don't need no representation. I'm here to find out what's what.
Okay.
So.
We will give you an opportunity at the end of the interview to ask questions or to make any other comments you wish to make. Our investigations are confidential. We ask that you refrain from discussing any aspect of this interview with anyone. This way, the integrity of the investigation is protected. If you need to discuss this with a union representative, a family member, or an attorney, that would be okay. We just ask that you refrain from discussing what we discussed today with your coworkers or generally talking about it while at work. An individual who brings a charge of discrimination or who participates in an investigation of such charges is to be free from retaliation for their involvement. To retaliate would be in violation of the Water Reclamation District's policies and relative non-retaliation law. The outcome of this investigation will be conveyed to the department head. However, the information gathered throughout the course of the investigation and any written reports of findings will remain confidential. The only time this information, including your statement, is released is if the records are subpoenaed due to litigation or if they're needed for issues presented in labor administrative proceedings such as union grievance procedures. So let's just start off by having you say your full name and your job title.
Gilbert Fields Mullen, Jr. I am a facilities maintenance tech / CDL.
How long have you been in your position?
Oh, heck. Probably about 20 years.
That's how long you've been working for Water Rights?
Oh, no,
I'm longer?
Yeah, I got 26 and a half years of service, going on 27.
Okay. What is your work schedule? When do you normally work?
I work Tuesday through Friday, 6 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. We're on summer hours. 5 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon.
Okay. Who's your supervisor or manager? Who do you report to?
Tony Mayer is my supervisor.
How long have you been under his supervision?
Oh, heck, maybe about 4 or 5 years.
Okay. So briefly describe your job duties. What do you do?
I film sewer lines. I work in the TV truck.
Okay. So we're going to start with some of the allegations.
Okay.
Have you ever referred to yourself as, quote, a slave while at work?
Oh, yeah.
When? Do you know when?
When people ask me about why don't I promote or how come they don't promote you? And I tell them, well, I've tried, and last time I tried to promote as a supervisor, they hired their buddy and told me I wasn't qualified. And so, but then they give me evaluation and say, but Gilbert, you've got 25 years of experience and this and that and the other. Why don't you try and promote? Well, I already did. See, you can only play that on me one time. And after that, then, and besides what they did now, they don't go by your evaluations. They make you take what is a test which the federal government don't recognize, all right? They tell you to take the test, get the promotion. That's how it all started. But you take the test, you still don't promote. It's still up to whoever if they want you in this position. Nothing is based on your evaluation. See, and so what they did, instead of removing the human element out of it, they put the human element in it. So you can spend $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 getting these so-called certificates, but you still don't go anywhere. And then there's employees that have done that already. And so, heck, I've been here all this time. I don't need to do that. I mean, you know, and then there were times where another supervisor said the one guy that was brought in under the table, let me put it that way, because they broke their own policy bringing this guy in. In fact, I tried to file a grievance and the union wouldn't grieve it because they said his application was so impressive.
So how did the slave term...
Well, that's just what I am. I mean, the thing is, nice lady, I come to work, I be on time, I get the money, and I go home. Okay? If I've done something wrong, tell me, and I'll make the adjustment. For some reason, and there's no law in the world says that even the county has to promote you. Okay? There's no law. But when you give them good service, okay, I pulled through, it was a time where they had a guy, had a gambling habit, driving sludge trucks, okay, and he would go out 8 hours and bring back the truck. They used to call me at home because only me and another guy would have this Class A license. I would come, I would drive all weekend. I mean, a lot of dedication, but you just don't like me. And your excuse is, well, we paid you. So what are you? You're just a slave. And then...
Have you ever said that to anyone in management at Water-Red?
I'm quite sure. In fact, I've even... okay. I wish I would have known. I would have bought some of this stuff. I got a letter going to Congress. And I also got a letter going to the governor, to the Mr. Laxalt, to Senator Robertson, and Assemblyman, I forget his name out of Reno right now. Okay. But in those letters, I signed my name, Gilbert F. Mullen Jr., slave. Because that's just what I am. For some reason, these people don't want to promote me. Okay. And then the money that I've earned being on, let's say, I've trained as confined space entry even before the fire department trained on confined space entry. They take me off. They're taking my money away. They don't want to pay me. They don't want to, everything I do, I have to fight for it. And that's basically what a slave is. And so, well, maybe to your terms, you've been on your job 26 years and you just at the entry level. Come on. What's wrong? See, and then the thing is, now these allegations are coming up because, see, now I got a workman's comp hearing coming up on the 9th. And what it is, the district is facing fines of $16,000 a day because they failed a federal mandate, okay, concerning when they bought out a guy from Carson City back in 1995 from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association about the do's and don'ts because of the sensitivity of our driver's license. And I got hurt in 2003, okay, and then the doctors, they gave me muscle relaxers, told me not to drive but released me to light duty. Well, when I went back, wasn't nobody there. The supervisor was going to meet me. So I left those documents on there. I went home and I started taking the pills. This was on a Wednesday. He calls me Monday, asking me why I'm not at work. I said, well, I'm taking muscle relaxers. But then they said, well, yeah, but you've been released to light duty. I said, well, how am I going to get there? And the thing is, at the end of the day, they docked me $47 of pay and gave me a written reprimand in my file. Well, over the years, I've been trying to show them, hey, what you did was wrong. And so, so what happened at the end of the day in this meeting, this guy said, do not lose track of this training. And that's exactly what they did. Well, Marty Flynn he's the guy that's over the insurance. He was in this meeting, and in the written reprimand, he says, like, the doctor told me to take the muscle relaxer at night and then just take the 800 milligram of ibuprofen during the day. So in the reprimand, he says, yeah, but the doctor says it's okay for him to drive. Well, federal CDL law says if you take a muscle relaxer, you're down 24 hours. They're supposed to have a policy in place, okay, if you take this, this is what you do, all right? Well, just previously, I just got hurt. I was off work for 6 months, okay? And again, the workman's comp gave me something, but this time they said, well, we don't have no light duty for you. Just go home. Well, what they were doing, after 8 weeks of workman's comp run out, they start making me use 3 hours per day of my sick leave at their behest. And I inquired about it, and Marty told me that they have to do it this way because the union contract.
I don't want to get too much into
well, okay, well, I'm just saying, this is retaliation, and I'm telling you why.
I'm filing for workers' comp?
No, because of the hearings coming up.
Okay.
Okay, now when this hearing, we already had one, they didn't show up. This one, they had to hire lawyers, okay? And if they deny me here, we go to a district judge, okay? And at that point, I'm going to be able to bring all this stuff out.
Okay,
so
let's go back
okay,
to
well, then you
slave
go ahead.
question.
Because I don't, okay.
So you do admit that you have referred to yourself as slave.
Exactly.
You sign your name, you sign a document, and then next to it you say you put yourself down as slave.
Political letters I have.
Political letters.
I don't sign anything at my job or anything like that.
Okay. And again, you're saying that that's how you feel that you're treated.
I am.
And that's why. Have you ever taken that concern? I mean, this is a very general question, and
yeah.
you have. But, you know, do you understand the inference that making a statement like I'm a slave makes? You know, the connotation that it has.
Okay. Well, let me hit home with this. I became a whistleblower. Okay. Virginia Valentine gave me a whistleblower letter. You know what the HR manager did? She gave up confidential information when Jesse Hoskins, I don't know how long you've been here, but when Jesse Hoskins was over HR, he told her in confidence, when somebody become a whistleblower, they go to the HR manager and they say, these guys are not to be messed with. They are protected. She told, in fact, the department head that I'm in, they done ran off everybody but me because they found out we were whistleblowers. So the connotation fits the treatment that you get, especially becoming a whistleblower, because right now, not only the district, but Clark County is in violation of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 because they failed to protect us whistleblowers. Okay. And so for them to say, to call myself a slave hurts their feelings, to bring this kind of charge on me, it's, I don't know, they need to be drug tested.
Let's talk about this. Is this your Facebook profile?
Yeah.
So next to your profile under your occupation, you actually have down slave for the Water Reclamation District. Is that correct?
Let's see, where is it at?
I know.
Probably is. Let's see, friends request. You'll be riding soon.
It's on the left-hand side, a little up right there. And then it has Slade for the
Yes.
Water Reclamation District, right?
I see water reclamation, yeah, slave that water, yeah. Because I've even communicated on my, other people, that I know what I'm going through. This is no secret. This is absolutely no secret. That tells you right there they're concerned.
Well,
And the thing is, again, they violated federal law. I've been already to the FBI trying to get the case moved, caught the union gerrymandering 2 labor contract votes. This is why I'm writing Congress, because these people are in violation of federal law, and nobody is protecting them.
okay, which federal law again?
The Sarbanes-Oxley Act, 2002. President Bush signed it into law. That was put in place after the Enron scandal, because the people that was coming forth, that was trying to give information to save the shareholders, were ignored. Okay.
So I do want to say that they are concerned because, you know, by having something public like this, like a public profile,
Yeah.
displayed at the and then you just tag the water reclamation district,
Mm-hmm.
it'll look on their behalf like they're condoning that they do have this, that's how they view their employees, but,
Well, let's get to court so we can get it out.
okay.
If they're pushing this, let's go, because I'm totally prepared.
Okay. So let's talk about an email. Did you send this email titled A Union/District Policy dated April 10th, 2015
Yes.
to Jim Cohen?
Yep,
Yes.
because,
And next to it, under your...
Right,
you
slave.
Slave again.
Right. Because, again, this is a political document, no matter that it's an email, but the union, see what Marty Flynn said, what the district should have done when Workman's Comp released me to light duty, and that's what they do. They don't care if you come in a wheelchair and only got one arm. They're going to release you to light duty. Workman's Comp law says they're supposed to provide or create a job position for you to do. If they can't, you're supposed to be put on temporary total disability. They didn't do that because Marty says we don't do that because we're bound by the union contract. Okay? So I've been asking, where's the union contract? Well, now I'm represented by the attorneys for injured workers for the state. A district judge had already assigned that attorney to me. And when I told him this, he said, well, the state does it. He said, but if you want to see the contract, ask your business representative. He didn't send me back to management. This is the chief steward, and this is what I'm asking him. Show me the contract.
Right.
And he says there are no contracts.
And regarding the content of the
Yeah.
email, that's perfectly fine.
That's
We
fine.
just want to address the slave
Yeah.
part that you put next to
Yeah,
your
you
name.
betcha.
Has anyone ever talked to you about that when you put
Nope.
slave next to your name?
Nope.
No one's ever voiced any concerns?
No. Yeah.
Did you send this email dated July 23rd, 2015, titled Broken Glass and
Yep,
33?
I sure did.
In it, you started off the email by saying, "Dear Uncle."
That was a typo, and I tried to get rid of it and didn't realize I didn't get rid of it until after it went. But the Tom Keglovich, for years I always called him Uncle Tom.
Why?
Because he has nephews, he has nieces, and his first name is Tom. And that's just rhetoric. That's just on-the-job rhetoric. He's never mentioned anything to me about it being inappropriate. In fact, the district had a open house. This is when Mr. Midwiggins first got the position as general manager. It was on a Saturday. Tom's wife showed up. I called her Mrs. Uncle Tom. They all thought it was delightful, you know, and
Now, have you ever called Tom and Megan, Uncle Tom?
No.
Okay.
You don't do that. That's the man that signs the check.
Okay. Well, this email was sent to him and to and Tom and Megan. So
because I sent that because what happened when I came back my first day from injury, the new assistant manager that's over me embarrassed me in front of the secretary because what they wanted me to do was to go to DMV and get my license switched over, and I told him that I would go payday, and he said, no, I want you to do it today in front of the place. And I had to literally open up my wallet because I was insolvent. And so I tried to get an appointment with Tom Midwigan, almost a whole year, until I brought that issue up, okay? About him embarrassing me in front of the secretary. It's his secretary. But again, nothing was said.
okay.
So, I mean, I'm talked down to. I'm made to look embarrassed.
Has either Tom Midwigan or Tom Keglovitz ever said to you that they feel uncomfortable you calling them Uncle Tom?
Nope.
Has anyone in management in general talked to you about
Nope.
the Uncle Tom issue?
Nope.
Okay. Have you ever told anyone at work to use, quote, the race card when going to management about work-related issues?
Ooh, I told him the opposite. George Cotton tried to get me to use the race card, and I didn't. I used disparagement treatment because what he wanted me to do, I had a meeting with the commissioners about how I was being treated, as I told Mr. Midwigan in that meeting. Since day one on that job, see, the guy that hired me wanted me because of my skills. His boss wanted him to hire Commissioner Karen Hayes' cousin.
Okay.
Okay? And so from that point on, then there was one guy, I'm still new on the job, guy coming in. We went and had a basketball game, and our team lost. He started coming to my work area, started calling me all out of my name, niggas, motherfuckers. And I went to his supervisor, and he said he would take care of it. I went to my supervisor, everybody said fine, and it just got worse. And so what happened was, eventually, when my first day of hire out there, my supervisor wanted me to go drinking with him at a bar there at Lamb and Boulder Highway. And I resisted so much until this guy kept coming, and all of a sudden I started going with him. And then I went for 2 weeks, and then they were going to open up a position driving sludge trucks. They let me go and train, and so I was out of there. That guy wasn't coming around no more.
But you've never said, oh, you should use your race card
No.
at work. You've never said that.
I got proof of that. George Cotton was the one that wanted me to use a race card in a meeting with Commissioner Hayes and Commissioner Gates. At the time, Jim Gans was supposed to have been in the meeting. He was the director, but he took off. He sent his assistant director, Fred Tenier, and supposed to have been an analyst. Her name was Julie Rich. And then there was Reverend Scott from the NAACP, because at that time, me and another employee, Noble Williams, he was also out there. We were both investigators for the Las Vegas branch. And in fact, that's how we got the beating, because my supervisor at the time was African American, and he's going by what other people are saying. He tried to get me to admit to something that I didn't do, and he started getting louder and louder, and I got my keys and I left, and I went to the branch. Reverend Scott called George Cotton, because Reverend Scott helped George Cotton get this job, because George Cotton was Reverend Scott's subordinate. When he worked for the state EEOC, he was the director. And Reverend Scott said, you owe me. This is my man. They just run him off his job. And so instead of dealing with my complaint, he had an agenda that the commissioners wanted, because he said there was a glass ceiling out there for blacks. And he needed somebody to throw that brick. So when the meeting came, instead of me saying blacks wasn't being promoted, I said I charged the district with disparagement treatment because there's an inner and outer circle. No matter what you do, if you're in the inner circle, you're taken care of. But if you're on the outer circle, you do your job, be on time, you never get promoted. Because there was an African American named John Robinson. He started there in the 60s. All the other guys went on up. Even one guy said he couldn't even read, was making department heads and stuff out there. John Robinson was the old guy still riding basketball trucks. So see, it's a trend, it's a habit. But see, blacks wasn't the only ones out there being promoted. There was another guy that I partnered with. We worked together for 9 years. Good Mormon, name is Guy Gillespie. Same thing. They put him with John, okay? John, in his mind, put two and two together. John started thinking, well, they put this Mormon guy with me so he can go back and tell on me so I can lose my job. Once people know that they can work you just by having somebody with you, all of a sudden that person becomes it too, because now they like you to be at that point so you can get on this guy's nerves. This is the kind of sickness that went on there. And so when John left, right when I went to the collections, opening came up. There was two positions. One was a truck driver. That was a Schedule 16. The other was equipment operator. That was a Schedule 18. Well, Guy put in for that job because he already had like 9 years of service. But there was another guy that had less years, and they gave that guy the position over Guy. What Guy did, he came down here, he filed a complaint. You know, they turned around and they tried to fire him for coming down here and filing that complaint.
Let's go back to the race car comment.
Okay.
Why do you think this comment being attributed to you? I mean, you're saying you've never used it, it's actually the opposite. Why do you think they're attributing this comment to you?
Because,
in your opinion,
in my opinion, they're trying to find a way to get me out to save Marty Flynn's bacon. Period. Because they're concerned about the fines. They're concerned that I haven't budged. It's part of the documents for workman's comp, and they know it's going to come out, and they know that I'm not going to cut no deal with them because that's the wrong thing to do.
So
they know I've been an NAACP investigator under Reverend Scott. I've done TV interviews. I've done even worked the coroner's inquests. When I was a member of the National Alliance Against Racism and Political Oppression, we spent weeks and months down at DMV collecting 47,000 signatures. The Civilian Control Board that's now in place is because of me, Dr. Tate, and others from that group. So there's many things why they knew of my political activities. So again, I'm not concerned. Go right ahead.
No, it's okay. And I understand what you're saying, but we only have jurisdiction only.
Yeah, I understand.
We don't get involved in the other issues.
Yeah.
But, coming from an employer standpoint, let's look at the other end. You have an employee that is constantly referencing himself as a slave, and then he uses a term with, I guess you said only to Tom Tegrovitz. You say you've never really said it to Tom and Megan, but you're using Uncle Tom. Do you understand the connotation that calling someone Uncle Tom carries?
But he's never said anything about it.
Okay, so maybe he's never said anything about it, but do you understand what the connotation carries by calling someone
No, I don't. No, I don't. Because how in the heck Caucasians going to charge an African American using the term slave? This is playing on their feelings. They're the ones that violating me. They just don't want me to say it. They want me to be silent. But see, what I've learned is when you're silent, that means everything is okay. Okay? So it's just their treatment of me, how they've treated me over the years, how I've told them things, they ignore it, but then they only want to hear what they want to hear.
Are there any allegations of race discrimination that you would like to right now bring forth and report to us?
No, because the Office of Diversity is just an advisory. See, George Cotton already spelled it out. See, this office, no matter how separate you are, you will not bite the hands that feed you. Point blank. Okay. We got a whistleblower that bought a letter. Now, Marty Flynn's been caught with his government encrypted email on Bishop Gordon's website. This is coming out because evidently he was busy doing something else when he should have been taking care of his business about the policies for the CDL. This is part of the reason why he failed that mandate, all right? Now, that one whistleblower that they ran off, he was a supervisor. We gave him a copy of that. He brought it down here when Teresa Strupe was over this office. Instead of them looking at that, helping them get back on this job, they questioned, where did you get this? Why? We want to know where you got this instead of looking at the value of what they're saying. That's a federal offense. I've traded out. See, all this is going to Congress. See, and you're using, just like right now, you're using public resources to rake me over the coals of racial discrimination because of what I call myself. See? Now,
and they're also concerned that you call an employee Uncle Tom.
Well, he's never said anything about it. Once a person says, hey, I don't like that, that's it, it's over. See? The way I tell people, you get one free shot. That's the way the law works. Am I correct? You get one free shot. When that person says, don't do that no more, that's it. You do it again, now you're on the penalty. So he's never said anything to me about it.
But now that you sent an email that also went to the general manager, to the director, and it's been known, they were concerned because that...
Well, that's why at first I was writing it to Tom, and then I thought, well, let me put it to Mr. Midwigan, because after that meeting, he wanted me to come more to his office, and I told him I wouldn't be coming back to have meetings with him face-to-face anymore because he did not give me a clean sheet of paper. He went around and asked other people about me, this and that and the other, and then supposedly he had an open door where he brought in the department head and the assistant manager to see what I was going to talk about. It was an open door like he said. And then he said, start yelling, I should have had you written up. Well, what are you going to have me written up for? You said you have an open door. But these things I've discussed with him. And so when I told him...
Did you discuss this email at the Tom weekend?
No, I just sent that because employees over the years, I've complained about, they make me get in vehicles behind them. You're supposed to clean out stuff. I'm always cleaning after somebody. Okay. And so when that happened, and I almost stepped on the glass, but then when I found what they told me, well, first of all, I was being too early at work. Then I wasn't supposed to be around the county vehicles unless I had my work boots on. Then I wasn't supposed to be around it until I clock in. So I made the adjustment.
Okay. I do have to tell you that I understand if perhaps that you're not the first one. Many people sometimes feel like even though we are separate, they feel like perhaps they can't trust coming to OOD. But there is a state, the Nevada Equal Rights Commission, and then a federal, the EEOC, agency that you go to report any kind of racial discrimination or any other category covered under Title VII. You can report it to them if you don't feel comfortable coming to us.
Oh, I know that.
So I do have to make it known that if you do feel you are being discriminated because of your race, you can go to an external agency.
I've been twice to federal EEOC. Claims are always being unfounded because they don't meet the rules.
Okay.
Now, I have a very unique situation here because I caught the union gerrymandering in the 2012 labor contract vote concerning public funds. I challenged the vote. They wouldn't give me the stuff. I filed with the Employees Management Relations Board, but they dismissed it unprejudiced. They told me I can refile again, but they said they don't have a revised statute to regulate the inner workings of the union, but the federal government do. Title VII. That's where they're violating Title VII. And then what Title VII says, you have a right to vote, okay? You also have a right for public places, this and that. If your rights are violated, the U.S. Attorney General will file a lawsuit on your behalf. Well, what they did, they gave me a ballot, but they told me my name was not on the official list. I wanted to count the ballots and make sure that my vote was validated, because they sent me a document saying that you've been a dues-paying member since July 27th of 1989, but that's a lie, because I got a document that said that you wasn't affiliated with the Clark County Public Employees Association. That's who I joined back July 27th of 1989. You wasn't affiliated, which the affiliation was illegal to state law until October of 1990. Okay, but now you're saying on the official list, I'm not registered to vote. Well, you're doing the same thing what they did in the southern states to blacks before the 1965 Voters' Rights Act. That's what they're in violation for. See, because by them not letting me validate myself, they are in violation of the Voters' Rights Act of 1965. This is why I have the Attorney General's attention. I'm going to give her all these other documents, because what I want her to do to ask the FBI, all these things, I'll make 5 to 6 trips down there, giving them, they will not forward this to the U.S. Attorney Office. When I first went to the U.S. Attorney, they referred me to the FBI because they are the investigation arm of the Justice Department. So this is why I'm sending this stuff. All right, so I'm going to address all this to her.
Okay. I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to add? Any
No.
questions you have for me?
No.
Do you understand why these concerns were brought to us so we can look into them?
Yeah, because, and I'm going to tell you, they got a sick mind. See, sickness, that's what...
Why do you say that? Why do
because that's what, when people trump up, how in the heck you gonna take slaves? You went on, see, they really did some work on this. Go on my Facebook page, and I can back everything up what I said.
The profile is public information.
Well, that's fine. And you know something? I hope, for your records, I hope they take me to court. Because that way I can be able for years that I could never explain my side, no matter downtown or out there. Okay. It's always been a kangaroo court.
Once again, just from a management perspective,
I understand.
You have to understand that when you're, someone is saying that there is an occupation of slave at Water Rec, they have to look into it. Otherwise, it'll look like they're condoning it, like, oh yeah, they're okay with having slaves, but they're not.
Well, how come they're not? I've turned in a guy gambling on the job. They tried to cover it. Then I sent an email to all the Board of County Commissioners, all the press people, even the guy that tried to cover it, and the guy that was running the place, Richard Mendez. You know what they did? They had me investigated. You know why? They said that they have a policy where I am not to send an email outside the district. I'm exposing a guy that's gambling when he should have been working. So so I can't. They can say, well, we have this, but when I tell you something, you don't hear it. This is why I'm dying for them to Take me where you gotta take me. Please do.
We are just looking at
Well,
the concerns that management brought forth.
That's fine.
They don't want people to think that they are okay with people.
Well, they are, because of the fact that they, just like he said, what he wants me to do is forget about the past.
Any other
No.
questions? Okay, so I just have to remind you to please, remember to keep this confidential unless you want to talk specifically to an attorney or a union rep. But
No, I don't need that.
Any other employees at Water Rec, we ask that you refrain from discussing.
No, I won't say a thing.
And, any person who has any concerns, management, employee, whomever, they have any kind of discrimination concerns, they do have the right to bring those concerns to us so that we can look into them, which is exactly what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the end of the investigation, we do have a letter that we send out to everyone. If you would like us to notify you, once we're done with this investigation and what the general outcome of, we don't give specifics, but what the general outcome of this investigation is, we can do that. You just have to sign an authorization to release that determination. If you want to fill this out, I can give it to you.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And I'll send you, I need to know, we're done with the investigation. These are just our general findings.
So what, you just want me to sign my name and then print it?
And then, indicate how you want us to give it to you. You can come, we can mail it to your address, we can call you, you can come and pick it up, or we can send it to a union representative.
Well, no, here, just mail it.
Mail it, okay.
All right.
So mail, and then if you can please put your address, and then sign and date, and then
Okay.
I'll give you a copy of that one.
P.O. Box 13612. Let's take us NB 89112-1. They're actually helping me. That way I can discuss it, because everything they're giving me, I signed it. If I disagree with it, just like when you sent me that and I signed it, I disagreed with it because I didn't know what I was going to be asked, or if I was going to agree to something.
Right, no.
I know how to protect myself. Let's see, the day is 9/2.
We keep it confidential to the day of the interview. We
Yeah.
don't give people in advance any type of any information. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you so much for your cooperation. I'm going to give you a copy of this, so if you would just like to wait a minute for me, and I'll copy it for you, okay? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me copy this for you, and I'm going to give you my business card also, just in case
Okay.
something comes up later.
All right.
1 second. So this is my card, this is your copy.
Oh, okay. Just take
And
it together for me.
just wait for the letter to be
Yeah.
mailed to you, okay?
Fine.
Okay, good, thank you so much.
Okay. You have a good day.